threw a drink at us.
Who, Puff Daddy?
Yes.
Damn. He threw a drink because you didn't want to come have a drink with him.
Yes, he threw a drink at us because we did not want to come over there. And next thing you know, we're just like, what? Yeah. Next thing you know, we throw a drink. The next thing you know, he throws more drinks. And
Bitch, you don't want to drink with me?
like, oh my God.
Fuck you, man.
Shine the lights on me. Shine the lights on me. Shine the lights on me, bitch.
All right, what's happening, man? You already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Nappy Chef and my co-host Sqii. And this is Raw and Uncut podcast. My bad. This is Raw and Uncut podcast, episode 9.
Man, if y'all didn't notice, we got the geese, the swans, we got all the birds out here, man.
Yeah, well, look, we got our little fans. They over here watching us and shit, man.
They over here watching us, Nappy feeding them wings. And
For real.
That's why they so damn big.
Yeah, man. But today we got a very special guest. This is actually our first guest on Raw and Uncut podcast. She goes by Morgan G. She's a vet in the music industry. She's from Atlanta, Georgia, and I want to introduce her. So how you doing, Morgan?
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right, man. So like I said, man, we want to introduce you to her, man. We want to interview her and just let her tell you a little bit about her. Hold on. Y'all shut the fuck up and go over there somewhere else, bro.
What? They didn't really start acting
Damn,
out like
we
this
recording.
until we started.
The fuck?
We've been out here for like 2
Man,
hours.
hold up.
Oh, shit.
Come on, go.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Never tried to get in the seat.
He gonna fight back.
Acting like that.
Taxation without representation.
Man, listen, we trying to record and we got a fan base over here.
That's crazy.
Anyway, shut up. Y'all can sit. Y'all can watch the show. Just be quiet.
Just
We
like
need our
some
camera
kids.
time too, shout out.
Damn. All right.
We here and we won't disappear.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm back, man. Y'all know. But how you doing, Morgan?
I'm good. I'm blessed.
What's up, man? So where we at? We came to your city, man.
We are currently in Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, Florida. All right. So for people that don't know you, just tell me a little bit about yourself. Where you from? You know, before you moved to Orlando, a little bit about you, like your name and things like that.
All right. My name is Morgan. My last name G. We just go by G.
Morgan G.
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I basically grew up there. I was not born there, so I can't sit there and be like, I'm a Grady baby.
Okay.
Right.
Where were you born in?
I was actually born in Chicago.
Okay.
But I was literally just born there, and then we moved.
Didn't want to stay in Chirac.
Nah.
That's like Atlanta's sister, though, because there's a lot of folks that I meet in Atlanta, Georgia, that's from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So that's like their sister.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So how old were you when you moved to Atlanta from Chicago?
I was a baby.
Oh, you was a baby.
I was a
Okay,
baby.
so you from Atlanta then?
I'm from Atlanta.
Yeah, okay. So I look at it like, cause it ain't where you were born, because I wasn't born in Georgia, but I was raised in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? And I'm definitely a Georgia boy. I'm like a Georgia, Carolina nigga. You know what I'm saying? I was born in Carolina, but raised in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? But, you was born in Atlanta, and then, like, how was your childhood? You know, like, what was your dreams and aspirations as a child?
Okay. When I was growing up, like, I always had, like, a love for real estate and architecture and stuff. I wanted to be an architect.
Okay.
As a child?
Yeah,
That's
as a child.
Okay, that's what's
You know, when
up.
I would go to school, we were in computer class, and I would be designing houses and stuff from the outside to the inside. And even my teachers back then, they were just amazed. They were like, she's really like laying out these houses and stuff. And it always just stuck with me. And I think it stems from my mother. We would always live in, like really nice neighborhoods. But we would always jump over to like the next neighborhood, and we would walk through the new homes and the homes that are currently being built and stuff. And it just always stuck with me. So when I got the $1 million question from my parents, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are you going to be when you get out of high school?
Get, right?
My mom was a school teacher, and her husband was an engineer.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, well, I want to be an architect. I want to go to Georgia Tech.
Right, okay.
And I want to be, not an engineer, but an architect. And the engineer and my mother's husband was like, absolutely not.
Right.
And I was like, what do you mean?
Why do you think he said that?
Well, he's an engineer.
Okay.
So he wanted you to be an engineer?
No.
No?
He was honestly, like, as angry as I kind of get inside back then, even to currently, he was just being real with me. I wasn't very good, like, at math and stuff at school. And he just looked at me and was like, no. He was like, you are going to waste my money.
Oh, okay.
He was like, do you know how hard architecture is? And I'm just like, oh, man.
Sometimes, like, there's things that I want to be when I was a child, too, that my parents was like, nah, you shouldn't do this, you should do that. But sometimes your parents can't see, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with your friends and your family, sometimes they can't see how special you are, you know what I'm saying? Because you're beside them, you get what I'm saying? So you might have been a great architect, but he might not have seen that for you, you know what I'm saying? So by you wanting to be an architect and him saying no, did that kind of like persuade you or sway you to wanting to do something else in life?
I tried to negotiate. I was like, okay, I don't have to be an architect. I can do architectural design. I kind of try to like minimalize it because there are other fields where I would still be able to do the same thing, but not as intense.
Right, okay.
But he still was like, nah, I'm not paying for, I'm not doing no test runs. Like, Georgia Tech is expensive. And so I just kind of veered off. Like, it was a good, bad thing. Because like I said, I veered off. And I was just like, oh, well, I'm just not going to go to school for a while.
Okay.
So there was like scholarships ever in the plan?
No.
Like no? Okay, so he was already thinking that he was gonna have to pay for you to go to college.
Yeah.
Right. So you did or didn't go to Georgia Tech then?
I did not.
Okay.
I didn't go to any school. I tried to go to Georgia State for a while doing soccer and stuff, but that just didn't work. Other things were calling me. I don't want to sit there and be like, the streets were calling me, but other things out there in the world of Atlanta was like, you know what?
Come this way.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, you're not even doing really what you really want to do.
Right.
There's other things out here. And so I got diverted out of school and started living a regular grown person life.
Right,
For sure.
okay. So what age would you say you kind of like jumped out in the streets or jumped out into the world to be like independent?
17, 18.
17?
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
And did you finish high school?
Yeah.
You did? Okay, so after high school was like, what was your plans? Or not even your plans, like what did you do after you got out of high school?
I just kind of hung out and, you know.
Just hung out. Yeah, we all did
I
that.
just kind of hung out and
Yeah.
was out and about in the streets, you know, trying to find my way,
Right, okay.
you know.
Okay. So
Working.
what folks don't know about you was so you was in the music industry, you know, so the you was a model?
I was a model. I was a dancer. I did a lot of assistant work, production management, you know, dealing with like a lot of the artists. I would go on tour with a lot of artists. Make sure just everything runs smoothly. You know, per se, like if we went to Jamaica,
Right.
I would, you know, make sure, you know, hotel reservations, everything was in order. Make sure they're in and out of their room when they're supposed to. You know, if they're out kicking it, or if we're all out kicking it, okay, you know, we need to head back because,
Right.
you know, the show is tomorrow at such and such time. We need to be rested up, or, you know, making sure their clothes were in order.
So you
this is
started
a
out as an assistant.
Yeah.
Oh,
an
okay.
Assistant, production management, making sure everything
So,
was in line with the artist.
How exactly did you get into it? Like, as far as how did you walk through the door? Get your foot through the door as far as like, you know, getting into the assistant role, that kind of
Honestly,
thing.
I'm not really quite sure how that happened. It just kind of just happened one day. Like, oh, you know, come over here to the studio. Come work with us. Come check this out. And then they see, you know, I'm working. I used to be over at Patchwork Studios.
Shout out to Patchwork.
Pitco,
Yeah, okay.
you know, stuff like that. I was really great friends with Shakira Stewart. Rest in peace.
Okay.
I just did a lot of different stuff, you know, and it all really stemmed from just being friends with people.
Right.
They were like, you know, hey, like, you know, I enjoy your personality. I enjoy like your passion, and you're easy to work with. You know, people just enjoy my presence. Irv Gotti used to tell me all the time, one of the reasons why he liked to utilize me was, yes, the obvious, you know, I was a pretty girl and I would get attention immediately. But if I was guided and schooled the right way, anything that he needed to have done as far as like attention wise, it would get immediate attention.
Right.
Because he would tell me, he's like, from the moment you walk into the door, he was like, you have
A glow.
a presence.
Right.
He's like, immediately, he's like, it's not even just necessarily your beauty. He was like, just people are immediately drawn
Your aura.
to you.
Right.
The
Okay.
He's
aura,
like,
the
so
energy.
he's like, I could hand you bullshit. And he was like, they're gonna sit and listen to you at least for a little while. And so he would use me to go into like different meetings where he couldn't attend or he didn't want to attend, and I would get certain stuff done for him.
So that was Irv Gotti?
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Irv Gotti,
Yes, rest
man.
in peace, Irv Gotti.
That's what's up. So that was one of the first people that you dealt with in the music industry as far as like doing business and making moves with?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them.
One of them? Okay. And then, so you was a dancer and a model as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so were you doing it? You was doing assistant work first. And
I was doing it all
you was
together.
doing it all together.
At the same time, huh?
All together at the same time. I had initially done a video on my own, and I can't relate how I got into it, but I was invited. It was for DJ DMD, and I'm not sure what all music he has. I know he's a Texas artist, but I know he has a good fan base, or at least did at the time. I did a video for them at Shark Bar.
Okay.
And that was really nothing.
Right.
But later down the road, Jermaine Dupri asked me, one day he was just like, what are you doing on Saturday? Just like, I don't know, working? And he was like, yeah, I need you to go to this address on Saturday. Just, come as you are, bring some stuff, whatever. I'm like, okay. I was so confused.
Right.
And I showed up. It was out in Cummings, I think. I don't know.
Oh, Cummings,
right.
yeah, okay.
Like, out in the
Slow down real quick though, because you throwing out these big names like Irv Gotti and Jermaine Dupri, and those is pretty big names in the industry. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So for people that don't know, like, how did you get connected with people like Irv Gotti? That's not like a small player in the game, and like Jermaine Dupri, you said it like I'm saying, Sqii called me. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, this is Jermaine Dupri, this is Irv Gotti. So how did you like get linked up with those type of people to be able to get those kind of calls for them to trust you? You know?
I don't know how I met Irv. I think I just randomly met him, or maybe I met Ja first. I don't know. I used to party a lot and hang out at 112 and rest in peace 112.
Right.
That place was an amazing place for many people. It wasn't just like a hangout party spot.
For networking.
Yeah, that you could meet anybody at 112. You never knew who you were gonna run into.
That's one thing about Atlanta in general, man. Anytime you're in Atlanta, you're going to run across somebody. Especially if you got the hustle in you and you know how to network. If you in Buckhead or wherever you're going to run into somebody at a restaurant, at the Lenox Mall, you know. So that's one thing about Atlanta. It's a very good place to just run into to network and run into a connection.
And so many people know each other in so many different ways. Like, being the fact that I grew up there, like, a lot of people, I like to break it down like this, a lot of the people that are famous today, very well established, whatever, whether it be in business or music, entertainment, there's three groups. There's the slightly younger group, which would be like Tip and people like that. And then you have the medium group, which is like myself, Jeezy, and then you have the older group, slightly older group, which would be like Big Boy, Outkast, Jermaine Dupri, stuff. But we all, for the most part, still like circulated within each other. I remember one time I was at what's his name? DJ J Nice, who was the main DJ at 112. He used to have like a cookout over at his lofts, and I already knew Tip, but Tip came up to me and was just like, "Oh my God, I'm getting ready to shoot my video for Pussy Pumper #1. I want you to be my video."
That's Tip for real. That was before T.I., right? He was Tip first, right?
Right. This is before T.I. This is Tip. And like, it's just stuff like that. Like, when you circulate within those groups of people, you tend to just rub off on each other and utilize each other. You're friends,
right?
And a lot of times it's just fun anyways. So.
Right.